This is part 7, a murder of crows. If foul play were involved in Cosmo's disappearance, was it a crime? According to the law, no. This is Steve Niemela. He's a wildlife biologist with the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife who enforces animal regulations. I talked to Steve about the Cosmo case. He said if any crime was committed, it would have been keeping Cosmo as a pet.
The one thing that we in OSP were really interested in initially was whether the animal was captivated, because it is illegal first to pick up wildlife, but certainly it's illegal to captivate Oregon's wildlife. So our understanding initially was that the animal was free to come and go. It had been at some point in its life human habituated, which is always a negative, but free to come and go, and from a legal perspective was reassuring until we started talking to people and found out that there's a bunch of children in particular that were having real negative and sometimes threatening interactions with this animal.
Because Janelle wasn't currently keeping Cosmo in a cage, Steve said ODFW wasn't looking to pursue that as a crime. But essentially, we're all supposed to leave crows alone. Crows are protected by the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, which generally prohibits the killing, trapping, selling, and transporting of certain bird species without permission. For instance, there's a crow hunting season in Oregon from October to January, which includes the time frame when Cosmo disappeared. But Cosmo was a special case. Because he was a nuisance bird, he could be killed any time of the year, no hunting license required.
So there's a variety of things that we suggest. You can do non-lethal harassment, hazing, and things like that. But ultimately, under Oregon's laws, these animals can be killed if they're causing problems.
And Cosmo definitely caused problems. Multiple police reports have been filed about this bird, and Steve and an Oregon State police trooper responded to Cosmo's neighborhood to talk to the concerned neighbors.
We heard of incidences of the crow landing on kids and pecking at their heads. That's why the one group of kids were just wearing their bike helmets every time they left the house. Another incident was relayed where a person had to actually run out and chase the bird off of a particular kid's heads. There were some incidences that were, pretty alarming.
Ultimately, officers told the neighbors they had the right to shoot and kill Cosmo.
It's a difficult issue when you have an animal that's interacted with school kids in a somewhat interesting way. There's Oregonian articles, people are very interested in the bird, but at the same time you're talking to people whose kids are being attacked by the animal. So it's difficult how to exactly talk and what path to take, but the one thing we settled on is we have to at least give them the information about what the laws allow. And that's kind of our job in these situations, is just give people what their range of options are.
According to police reports, the conversation with officers happened after a third police report was filed about Cosmo on December 11th, 7 days before Cosmo's second disappearance. When Cosmo never returned, neighbor 1 said she thought the police might have finally taken action, perhaps lethal action.
State police was still investigating it, and after talking with us and people that actually have to live with him, they decided that he's becoming a pest and a problem, and they're worried about someone getting hurt. They said they're going to do something. They didn't know what, but I know they didn't just go get him, because you can't just go catch him. He's extremely smart.
In the next episode, we'll explore if the neighbors didn't shoot Cosmo, maybe the police did. Could it have been an act of public service? Were they tired of dealing with complaints about a nuisance bird?